So take me back. Like, you're from Poland, right?
Yes, from very small.
Belvedere vodka, first of all and foremost, right? No?
No, I don't drink vodka. I don't like it.
Okay.
I'm more of a wine drinker, but
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So very small place.
Very small place in the south of Poland, very close to Czech Republic border and German border. Mm-hmm. I grew up very poor, I have to say.
Siblings?
My sister,
sister?
She lives in Germany. Graduated from college, moved to Germany for a little bit, then went back home. Then I was like, what I'm going to do with my life? I don't have anything. I just finished college and no really perspective for anything. So I was like, oh, I always like to do nails, so I'm going to do nails. So I did all the certification, done it. In the meantime, I met a guy who was living already in London. So he was like, oh, you can come and live with me. I'm like, oh yeah, why not? I'm like to explore. I like challenge. So we both moved, and I was renting a small place on the top of Polish shop in a Jewish and Polish community. Didn't speak English at all. Then after, I think, a year or two, I was like, holy crap, I don't speak English. If I want to stay here, I have to speak English. So I quit that job. Very good pay because I was working for myself. But I was like, I have to learn English.
So that was your first time of going out and not having a paycheck knowing where the money comes from, and just whatever you produced is what you kept.
Yeah. And so I interviewed with a few places in central London, very famous. And I got the first job in a very good salon. Didn't speak English at all, just my experience. Not a great pay, but whatever. And I remember there was an American school next to it, and all the ladies used to come and complain, it's so expensive. In America, I can get a manicure and pedicure for $40. And I remember all the clients I had, they're like, oh my God, they're gonna speak to me. I don't speak English. So my always first thing was like, would you like some magazine? And they're like, yes, please. Boom. Okay, she
just
doesn't
read.
speak to me
Shut
for an
up
hour.
And read. Yeah.
So anyways, eventually I learned English, left that salon, moved to another one closer to my area, was managing a little bit, but didn't like it so much. The girl, it was a young girl who was manager there and kind of helped this other Irish lady. She gave me 2 bounce checks, and I was like, that's it, I'm out of it. So I find a good job. That was my very good job in Belgravia, the richest area in London, very high-end salon. I was managing there and also providing services, good money, nice people, very important people like Anna Winter, Cara Delevingne used to come, they had very good marketing. And then in the meantime, I was like, there must be some other way. I saw how many people have problems with their feet. So I was like, there must be some school to do more. So at that time...
Specifically with feet?
Yes. Yeah. So at that time, I found a school outside London, enroll. And I was the only one foreigner doing medical school. So it took me 2 years. I graduated in 2015 and very successful. And I didn't want to stay in London. I was like, I really want to save more money and then come back to London and open my own place. That was always in my mind. I was like, I always want to have, my own place and working for myself. So I got a job in Bermuda. Didn't like the people, didn't take it. I was too far.
That's quite a change, huh?
Uh-huh.
What took you down to Bermuda?
No, I didn't at the first place.
Okay.
I got a job there, but I didn't take it.
Didn't take it, okay.
No. Then I got a job in Monte Carlo, Monaco. And I flew with my best friend. I was like, you come with me for the interview. I got the job right away, running the small, a nail salon. Set up everything for this lady. She was very funny. She was a Russian, married to this Iranian politic family, Bakhtiar family, so everybody knows in Iran. Loads of money. Didn't know how to run the business. So I set up everything. I brought my friend. I told her what to buy, even though I don't do facials. So I set up that. My friend came to train one of the girl. Very successful, all good. I was only a year that she wanted to keep me more, but I didn't want it. So in the meantime, I met my ex-husband. So we both left in July. And then August, I called my friend that I used to work with her in Monaco, and I was like, how are you? How is Maria doing? She's like, she closed the salon. I was like, what? I just set up everything for her, and she could not even run that business. She could not, so she closed. So then my ex-husband and I, we moved to Bermuda, where he's from. We both were there around 2 years. I could not do what I was studying for, so I didn't like it. So our daughter was born there. And I said, we either go back to London or we move somewhere else, because I want to do what I was studying for. So we didn't want to go back to London, so we moved to New York. So we spent there a year. And in the meantime, I did my research, what I have to do in regards to my qualification.
In other words,
to be
for
able
your certification to come over here and
correct.
Get
So
your state license.
I found this one lady. She had a podiatry office on the 2nd Avenue. She kind of guided me a little bit. So I started doing that. Graduated during the pandemic. Then pandemic hit. I could not do my internship. I had to do like 40 hours internship. In the meantime, I got my green card. So then I got a job at Elizabeth Arden on the 3rd Avenue, $13 an hour. Super busy. Yeah, like whatever. Then we came to visit his friends in May, I don't remember which year, 4 years ago. And I was like, oh my God, can we move here? He's like, you're crazy, we just moved to New York. But I'm like, nobody likes New York. So in July, we moved here. And I got moved with Elizabeth Arden, $11 an hour. They're like, oh, don't worry, like you're gonna get make tips. And no, it was $11 an hour, so whatever, I didn't have a choice. Then they bankrupt. Oh no, that was just before the lockdown. They bankrupt. Then I was without job, filing for a divorce. Didn't really proceed. Didn't have money. Didn't have nothing. Then in the meantime, as the world started to open, I started to apply for a job even at Walmart. I was like, whatever, Amazon, warehouse, I don't care. No, never heard anything from anyone. So I got a job where I met a few of the people you know as your wife at Pros, $13 an hour. Yes.
Sounds like a theme.
Exactly. And 2 years ago, they announced that they're going to close down. And I was like, okay, that's it. I think that's the moment. At that time, one of my friends had a studio where I have my studio now. She was like, do you want to come and do my nails there? I said, yeah, sure, whatever. So I went there to do her manicure and pedicure. And she was like, so Carla is here. Do you want to talk to her? I'm like, no, I'm not talking to her, Janina. I have $1,000 in my pocket. So what, I'm going to open with what, $1,000? I'm like, just the chair I need, it's like $3,000. Okay, I'm going to lend you the money for the chair. I'm thinking, okay, that changes the perspective a little bit here. And so Carla was like, okay, I'm here if you want to look. So I look at the room, beautiful view. I was like, oh, God damn it, I love it now. And I'm like, she's like, okay, let me know by tomorrow morning. And I could not stop thinking about it. I was like, whatever, the crappy job for $30 an hour, I can find it tomorrow. I'm putting everything on the one card. I don't care. So I call Carla back and say, I'm putting the deposit down. And from then, it was the best decision ever.
You said so much, very factual. I can tell you're just very right to the point and very not a whole lot of emotion, but some of the things that you mentioned are packed full of emotions. Let me go back to you made this. You became aware. You made this decision in your mind from what you were doing that there was a special niche that needed to be filled, a special service that you could offer that was just nobody doing that, or what made that stand out? What made medical intervention of the feet specifically? That's very unique and very specific, right?
Yeah.
Well, what made that pop in your mind where it didn't with anyone else? How did you see that?
I don't know. Part of it is passion. I love feet. I love helping people. And it's not just a simple pedicure. It's more of a care rather than beauty. And coming to America, I saw right away how big the gap is between regular salon and podiatry office. And of course, the healthcare system doesn't allow to go a little bit further because you can go only so far and then you have to refer to the doctor. But still, I can fill up big gap. And that's why I thought it's a great idea. And even now being in it, like I have the studio for 2 years and it's just like crazy.
It was the right gap, but it worked even overseas. So it's a gap everywhere?
More so in America.
You said not Bermuda. What was the difference there?
Bermuda, it's a small island, only resorts. They, they don't do stuff like that. And if they employ people, it's just like one person who needs to do manicure, pedicure, massage, facial. So
you knew, but you had this idea when you were still in London. Is that true? But it really translates over here better.
Yes.
Yes. Did you know that was going to be the case?
Mm-mm.
No. You were just
had
a passion with.
I didn't know American market at all.
Yeah. And to walk me through this, so you were an employee of multiple places that went belly up, bankrupt. You watched even places that you set up that were successful burn to the ground. And then you said, but I want to do that.
Yes.
Even though I've watched them all do
it. It's also, I think here, like places like Elizabeth Arden and Pros, which was franchise, the management, people.
The people is what took it down.
People, absolutely. And it depends how you treat people, They never had a good staff because there was no incentives. There was $13 an hour flat. No health insurance, nothing.
So your idea is different. So I know you're talking about franchise, which I want to talk a lot about, but you decided to start what you're doing at one of the hardest times of your life, right? Is that right? Do I have the timeline right? Like I've been through a divorce. I've been broke before, and those two things are the most stressful things a human can go through.
Yeah.
And this is when you decided to change your world.
Especially now, having a daughter and going through divorce. And I took that business 2 years ago. That was the most difficult time because I filed for a divorce. I didn't have shit. I remember I went to meet this paralegal lady and I was like, I have $500 and you have to help me to write these divorce papers. That's it. And my ex-family is quite wealthy, so they hire a very good lawyer and and I was fighting all of them, going through.
You've kept the gray hairs away?
Maybe a little bit.
And so filed for divorce and then start your business. And you have a daughter.
Yes.
And that could, depending on how the divorce is, if it's nasty, that could be really hard. If it's not nasty, it's still hard. Yeah. So you're raising your daughter. That's a full-time gig. Yeah. Starting a new business, which is like 2 full-time gigs.
Yes.
Right? And going through divorce. How do you keep your head up above water? Well, how do you not sink into a depression? What do you do for yourself?
That's the thing. I haven't done anything in a very long time for myself.
You think it's all bottled here still, waiting to...
Yes, a little bit. I'm working on this now.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Yoga and meditation.
Okay. That's your quiet time?
Yeah. Walk. Yeah. But like meditation, I find out recently. One of my very good friends meditate a lot back in London. And
it's hard, isn't it?
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard because after a minute you think like, what I can do? What is my to-do list?
That's the trick. It's not the first 30 seconds. It's what comes along after that, especially when you have all the responsibility you have, because those are the responsibilities you want to think about.
I think for me it's also like keep going.
Are you afraid if you stop, you'll fall off the cliff?
Step ahead. Oh gosh, no.
No. You don't. What pushes you to keep going though? Something.
I like challenge.
Well, you got it.
I like challenge, and like for example, now I have very established business for 2 years, and I'm like, I want more.
What's next?
What's next? Now I'm gonna take a break in July, and once I'm back, I'm gonna hire people, and I want to hire 2 people at the same time. Take over another studio and train my way. And if it's going well, I'm going to take bigger space. That's going to be my step. I just don't want to do it.
The different culture for these people versus what they're used to, because you know what all the other salons offer. What's your culture? How's it different?
The same. Like they will provide, like I will provide dry pedicures, which is like what I was studying back in Europe, in London, Poland, and Germany.
And what's the draw for the people that you're going to hire? right? You're going to incentivize them differently than other salons incentivize them? Because
Of course not.
Yeah.
No. I had a talk, one of my very good client husband, he builds businesses and sells, so I had a just a little bit talk with him, just trying to, that's the part of where I don't know anything. Like even you're going to ask me franchise, I don't know, I just have in my head and I think it can happen. And so far I have a lot of good people around me who can help. But the incentives definitely will be percentage. I don't know how I will structure yet. Maybe 50-50.
But a team of people that want to see you succeed because they'll succeed more than their $13 an hour, right?
Absolutely.
They have a piece
I would
of
never
something.
do that to anyone.
Yeah.
I was struggling.
That's what I'm getting at is you got to see that and bounce around, and it's probably fairly depressing when you put your hard work into something and get nothing else out of it besides the paycheck.
And everybody has to live, and Scottsdale is not cheap to live.
Yeah, Scottsdale's not cheap to live.
Yeah.
So how did you start off when you took the business, when you started small, you get your first client? Are you a marketing genius? How are you still in the business today, 2 years later?
I think it's part of it is the niche market. Whatever I provide is just the niche market, really. Nobody does it.
So you're the one. If somebody wants it, it's you.
Yes, I'm not even taking any more clients. I can't.
Really?
I'm working 7 days a week.
Oh.
I can work 24 hours, 7 days a week.
And this came from a decision back in the day in London where you didn't realize this was such a niche market in this country for that. So you're ready to grow.
Yes.
Yeah. The people around you at the time, I know you said you were going through a divorce, but your other family, your sister, friends, did you have the group of people? Some people are motivated negatively and some people are motivated positively. Like if someone says, you can't, there's no way you could do this. Some people go, I'm going to fucking show you.
Oh, yeah.
And then other people need the, you can do this, keep going, keep pushing. What was your circle like? Were they the negative or were they more the positive?
Most of my friends, they always supportive and positive, but you get some people along the way where they're like, oh, really? Wow, you just have $1,000 and you're going to do it? I said, yeah, but I have nothing to lose at this point, everything to gain. Like, okay, I'm going to lose $1,000. I'm going to sign this contract. I'm going to make it. I think I never kind of think of the, of not succeed. I don't know.
You never think about the
like
what if.
Positive.
What if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
It doesn't even enter your mind.
I'm always like, there's always some solution to everything. Even if I come straight and, even, then it's okay.
Then you learn something.
And without, I don't know, you have... Yeah.
Is your daughter picking up on it? Are you starting to impart some of these things? Is she becoming
She likes to come with me to work.
Mini you?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Wow. What do you think it was the most important thing when you took on that salon on your own? What do you think was the most important thing that you took from all the other places you worked? The best lesson that you did? Because you might say, well, I was just jumping from place to place. People were getting shut down. A lot of negative things going on there. But was there anything positive that you took from those that's helping you now today that you saw happening in all these other places?
Yes, I remember working for this family, very wealthy family back in London, in the salon in Belgravia. I used to love this lady. She was very straightforward, tough. But she knew how to run business, and I love her for that. Even once she said to one of the clients, fuck off from the salon, and I was like, God damn it, that would never happen here in America. That person would sue her right away. And yeah, there was one lady in Belgravia, she was like, oh, I don't remember, I don't like some. She's like, then just fuck off from my salon. And I was like, oh my God. Very well traveled. She always used to travel to America, to New York, Switzerland, and go to the best spas and pick up the best ideas. And she created a very, very nice place in London. Very nice. And I think you have to put money to take money out. There's nothing like you can do cheap. And I like good stuff. I like nice things. I like clean. I like class. And I think that comes along, You have so many salons around the corner, that they like, you walk in and I was like, oh gosh, I would not go for free there.
So you invest. You've seen the people that invested in the business pay dividends. Do you intend? You said you're taking some time off in July. Are you going to travel and scope salons out? Do you go and look like she did?
If I go to Europe, yes, I do. Yes, I will.
And see what they're doing.
Absolutely.
What's the difference? Is the salons in Europe much different than these salons here? Now, you mentioned they maybe are more costly, but other than more costly, is it just a totally different experience?
It's a better quality for some reason.
Quality.
I don't know why.
Same thing with the food, same thing with the
air.
Correct.
Correct. But then you think, like America is really behind when it comes to nail salon, really behind. Like I didn't see one very nice classy nail salon here. Being in New York, where is the capital city, you just the best things you get, more expensive. I remember I got this first job. I don't remember the name. It was a very luxurious place in New York. And the lady was like, okay, so meet me at the, I forgot the name now. Meet me at the salon. It will come back to me, the place. And I walk in and I was like, you charging $81 for this pedicure? I still have a picture. And she had this like a plastic bowl that you can use at home, and the foot file, I had foot files, was still like the skin was still on it. And I'm like, how people can come and pay $81 for that? And I'm like, you don't sterilize the tools? And she's like, oh no. And I'm like, and you have two girls, and the people are coming, and she's like, yes. And she opens one of the drawer, and she's like, and they kept the tools here. And I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I'm done. Yeah.
So they were transferring skin around. Maybe that was why people were paying so much. I can get some of your skin. I could get some of your skin.
Disgusting. Yeah. And people go and pay and don't really pay attention
to the little details. Or some of that seems to be a big detail to me.
A big time. For me, it's big time.
Yeah. Is it still a predominantly, so around here, there's a salon, a nail place, every plaza, every corner, there's a nail place. Predominantly Asian, I would say, dominated.
Yep.
Is it still that way across most of the country? Is that mostly here in Phoenix, or is that
No, it's everywhere. Even in Europe, a little bit.
Even in Europe. What's the reason for that?
I think it's a cheap work. I read
Cheap
the article
labor?
about, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I read article back in New York. Some of the people are not even legal. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so they get away with it cheap.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. So when you came here, how do you feel about immigration is all over the news,
Absolutely,
right? It's all you hear about, like illegal immigration, the border, controlling all of that stuff. You came here and did it what some people would say the hard way, which is you got a job, you got a green card, all those things. What's your feeling on that? Is it too hard to come here and be successful?
I think you can be successful everywhere if you want to be. Really. Even if I would be staying in London, I'd be successful, and I know that. I would have a nice clinic in probably somewhere, Chelsea, Knightsbridge. That was always my point. I like, being around people where they appreciate the work, and I don't know, I like nice things.
And so the immigration process here didn't stop you, clearly. It didn't stop you.
It was tough. I didn't work for 6 months.
Because you were chasing the citizenship
status?
status?
I was waiting for the green card, yeah.
Yeah.
That was, and apparently that was fast anyways.
6 months. Yeah. You had no other ties here, though, when you came? Was there other family or other people here? Your husband was from Bermuda, right?
He's half American. Half American, half British.
So potentially that helped, or no?
Probably.
Maybe a little
Never
bit?
married before, so probably that too. Yeah.
But still, you put in the time. You waited 6 months until you could, and then you took off.
Yeah, but in the meantime, like some people would sit and like, oh, when is the papers gonna come? I don't know. I was like doing my research. I did my school in the meantime, started at least the process. I was doing some research, like where I can work already. So the lady that I met that had the podiatry office that she still has actually, on the 2nd Avenue, very beautiful office. I remember when I went to talk to her, she was like, oh, so maybe you can work for me. And I was like, how about I work with you? And she was like, So she was like, she had a completely different approach after that, because I'm like, I don't want to work for you. I'm bringing more to the table. I'm not just a nail tech. Yeah, but she guided me a little bit. I sent her some clients, still sending some clients because I have people travel from New York and in between. No, I really appreciate it of her. But I guess if I would have stayed in London, that's where I will be working probably with her.
Doing similar things.
Doing medical pedicures.
Medical pedicures.
Yes, because she had this one room. I was like, you can rent me that room.
Is it a competitive industry in general where salon owners, it seems like she took you in maybe a little bit under her wing and then you share clients. Is that typical of this industry, or would you say it's more, these are my clients, these are my processes, stay away, not really interested in helping?
I think it depends on someone. It's like, I think she was willing to share her knowledge and resources, maybe in a benefit of, of her, like I'll be working with her. It's the same like some of my clients, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be looking to hire someone. And they're like, oh, and then what? You're going to train them and they're going to go. I'm like, yes, eventually they're going to go. But that's the part of the process. Why you have to stop me from employing people? That comes with the package.
Right. And you're ready.
So I guess,
that's a step you're ready for right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And and second of all, people need more help like that. The regular salons here really sucks. Like really.
Yeah.
We need more people. Yeah.
How far back? You said that I asked you about getting into the business in general, the nail business in general, and you said you've always liked doing nails. How far back did it go? Because I feel like now that we're talking about this, you have a passion not only for nails, but specifically for this medical pedicure thing. How far back does that internal desire go? Is this like when you're a young girl?
Oh gosh, I was probably 13 or something.
I mean, you're doing your friends' nails,
My mom's,
like your mom's.
Yeah.
Just couldn't get enough.
But I
of
never
it.
thought it would be like, I'm like, oh, that's nice. I'm good at this. Yeah. And I remember the first day of my practice, I bought the whole thing and I was doing the artificial nails on myself. It took me 8 hours and I was like so proud of myself. 8 hours and oh gosh, yeah. Yeah.
Goes back far.
Yeah.
What kind of things do you see? Do you see anything in your daughter yet of a passion? Things that you can nurture?
Nothing really related to me yet.
How old is she? 6?
She's 5.5. Yeah, almost 6. Yeah.
Would you want her to follow in your footsteps? Like, what's your thought process there with kids in general, your kids?
I think whoever she want to be. I'm not the kind of parent that, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to follow your heart.
That's what got mom here.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess.
Would you do it again the same way?
Yes.
Anything you'd cut out in the process?
Yes.
Yes?
Like yes,
what?
Because otherwise I would not be here.
Yeah. Yeah. So
absolutely.
No regrets. Everything is a learning experience.
Absolutely.
Move forward.
Yeah.
Keep moving forward.
Always, yeah. Look ahead. Don't look back.
And so you're going to turn your brain off for just a minute in July.
I have to, yeah. I haven't been anywhere in 3 years.
Where are you going?
I don't know yet.
Okay. You just know you're going.
Probably Europe, yeah.
And are you capable of shutting your brain off for a month?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
Well, if I ended up going to Europe, then definitely I'll be speaking to some distributors to bring some stuff here and open like a small shop online. Okay. Again, that's a niche.
Product?
And it's like big gap. Yes.
Okay. Specifically for the medical pedicure product.
Yeah.
Got it. So now people can leave your store, your salon, and purchase your items online?
Items, yeah. And
online store.
Eventually, yeah.
Who does all that? Do you have a team, or you're looking for team
There's
members?
one company that makes all those little tools that I need for the medical pedicure back home. So I want to speak to them, and I already spoke to one lady in Germany. So I'm going to go and speak to her.
What about the technology? Like, you got to get it online, get the store set up, you do all of that?
No,
you'll have someone do that.
I don't know yet who's going to do it.
You'll find someone.
Yes.
Yeah,
oh,
good.
yeah.
So you're good at, I think a lot of small business owners especially, that don't have a team already are not very good at letting things go and understanding when they're not good at something or when they're better at something else. to say, well, that's not my forte, that's not my deal. So I'll go find someone eventually to do that so I don't lose focus on the bigger picture.
Correct.
It seems like you're 100% comfortable to say, nope, it's going to be someone else's job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like my friend just now in London, great cosmetologist, like great, does laser, facials and everything. She kind of followed me a little bit. I can see she ran this one studio in Knightsbridge. And I called her yesterday and I was like, hey, how's it going and stuff. Like she's already having the studio for almost 2 months. And she's like, oh, it's crap. I have to take a loan. I'm like, why do you need to take a loan? And she's like, yeah, because, I need to do the marketing, I need to do this. And I'm like, me in my head, I'm like, no, you should not be there. That's not you. And she's the person that she tried a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, not to focus on the bigger picture. So I guess that's the problem. And I don't know, some people probably they cannot be the owners of their own businesses. I don't know.
A lot of people can't. That's pretty rare, actually.
Yeah.
Right? You're in the top 10% of the world if you can run and maintain your business long term. Having that kind of insight is excellent, though. Just knowing, I need to work outside of the business so I can see what's happening and let other people kind of do the nuts and bolts of it. And you keep doing what you're good at, which is clearly that your niche, that medical pedicure. And you can teach people to be just as good as you,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, that's your goal is let's find some people, make them as good as I am. And then you can go off and what's the next business? Is there, or franchise?
Yes.
Franchise. So
that's my dream. Yeah.
Franchise. Where? Just more spots here? Is there a spot
definitely
you have in
more
mind?
Spots here.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely market. I keep sending away at least 3 clients a day.
Really?
Yes.
That are calling
and I'm not even making this up.
Wow.
Yes. Definitely more spots here. And I was even talking to one of my clients. She's very deep in politics and she knows what's coming here. So where the mini golf was, it's going to be like a 5-star hotel connected to the airport. And I'm like, and it's going to be like a hotel and shops. And I'm like, oh, maybe I can have a shop there. And she's like, oh, no, that's for big money. And I'm thinking, oh, whatever.
You're looking at big
exactly.
money is what you're saying, right?
But
that's in your mind. That's
yes,
what you
I know the
yourself.
rent will be high, but why not? People will pay. It will be different price. Will be for exclusive to those people. To the hotel, and why not?
Why not?
Omni Hotel, has a spa and they charge 110 for just the regular pedicure. Tools are not sterilized.
How do you get to, I know you said it's a niche, and clearly it's a niche, like a very small niche, but one that's greatly needed. But what is it? Is it word of mouth? What gets you to the point of turning down 3 new people a day? That's big numbers.
That's what people need, and they don't get here.
So they're searching you out.
Even if you go to the podiatry office, they don't even cut your toenails properly. And I have patients with neuropathy, diabetes. That's basic.
So are you getting referrals from the podiatry offices or?
Few, yes, that I don't even know the doctors. I had one lady, she came from Phoenix and I was like, oh, how did you get here? Because I always ask. And she's like, oh, some doctor recommended you in Phoenix. And I was like, oh, I would like to know the name because I would like to send the email with thank you so much. She never sent it. Her daughter was saying that she could never find it. But mostly it's more word of mouth, yeah.
And is the clientele those that go to a podiatrist first and then come to you, or they are not sure where to go, so they're looking at both options and coming to you first?
I even have people from the doctors
coming to you
because the doctors don't know what to do.
Really?
Yes. I had one gentleman, he's my client now for almost a year. He came last year. And he had on the bottom of the foot, just right here, sticking something that long and crooked. And I'm like, have you been to the doctor with that? And he's like, oh, yes. And I'm like, what did he do? Oh, he cut it, then it was bleeding, then he injects something. And I'm like, all right, but what was the diagnosis? He searched and searched in his phone, he could not find it. And I'm like, you know what that is? I'm like, show me your hands. So he had a seed corns. That was a seed corn growing for 8 years.
Wow.
So yeah, I have a scalpel in a spoon shape. So I just cut it, no blood, nothing, scoop it out. He could not believe it, that after 8 years, he doesn't have that anymore. He's like, I can't believe. He showed me the whole list of Amazon, what he was buying to, to deal with that and cut his toenails.
Wow. Is there any, are you limited by license? Are you limited by regulation?
Yes.
It feels like you can take care of a lot of issues that even the podiatrist can't.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful.
I have to be careful, yeah.
Wow.
So that's why sometimes I refer to the doctor just because of my liability. Yep. But I had one lady, she contacted me on Instagram, send a picture of her brother's toenails after ingrowing surgery. And I can see there's an infection already going up to the ankle. And she was like, oh, someone recommended, can you help my brother? And I'm like, no, you have to take your brother as soon as possible to the hospital, to emergency. And she did. And he got 4 different antibiotics.
Wow.
Yeah. She was like, oh my God, thank you so much. He could really.
You might have saved his life, huh?
Yeah. Wow. It's just like he was at the doctor office.
What's the worst thing you've seen?
Worst thing?
Don't name any names, but just tell me the situation.
Oh, there was this patient I had on my internship back in London, diabetic. So he had a hole here going on the other side, and he didn't even know.
A hole, for people listening, a hole through the ankle area?
Yes.
Like the Achilles?
Yeah, and he came and was just...
Entirely through, like you could look through it?
And he was like, oh. And I was like, how you did not know that?
He didn't even know it was there? He's not looking down much, huh?
Yeah, they don't feel much. That's
I guess.
Yeah.
Wow. And then is there a remedy for that? Do you have a remedy for that?
Oh, then you have to refer to the doctor.
To the emergency
because,
room?
Then it becomes, he has to go to someone who's healing the wounds and it's a bigger job for the doctor, yeah.
Wow. Holes in the ankles, you're cutting corns out of feet. Every day is kind of an experience,
and
huh?
it's also a challenge. I like it, yeah.
You like it? Wow. Well, I'm super motivated to hear about this franchise thing. I think that's big. I think there's a lot in store for you. And you kind of know that. I can tell by your attitude that you're about to take on that whole world. And there's not a whole lot of fear on your part. No. Even though now you have something to lose, right? You have a little bit more to lose than when you only had $1,000.
What's that?
You have a little more to lose now than when you remember when you started, you said, well, I only had $1,000. I didn't have a lot to lose. Well, now you have a little bit to lose, but that doesn't enter your mind.
No, that's why I have to train people to work less a little bit at least, or just to take over the medical pedicures and just to, give away other people and gain more people. There is people there that waiting.
And then you would take over the more difficult cases and you would let the standard pedicures or manicures
And of course,
happen.
all my clients that they kept my business, they always first in line.
Yeah.
Never forget that.
Wow. Is that what you're most excited about over the next year? Yeah.
Yes. Especially when I come after summer,
Get a little downtime in summer.
Yes.
Come back whole. You'll have your divorce in the rearview mirror completely.
Not really. I have a trial coming up on Monday. Another one.
That's a drain, huh?
Yes.
Well, how do you compartmentalize that? Do you just keep that in a spot in your brain that you don't open very often unless you need to, and then go fight it?
It's almost in front of your face.
All the time?
You just try not to focus on that. That's not a good energy. You try to focus on the good energy, on the positive.
It gets easier, I will tell you that. It does.
It is.
It doesn't go away, but it gets easier. Even now, sometimes I still have to deal with things from my past. But it's a lot easier to deal with when you've gone through it. It feels dark.
Thank you.
It feels dark, foggy maybe, especially a trial. No one ever wants to be in a courtroom for any reason.
Yes.
This one will pass. Yeah, this one, you're going to come out looking like a superhero. You already do to some people, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
So if this was the last thing that your daughter heard out of your lips, what would you tell her?
That I always love her and always support her in everything she will choose in life. And just, I want her really to be who she wants to be.
Well, you're giving her a great example. Way to go, Mom.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. I can't wait to see your success.
Thank you for having me.
All
yes,
right.
of course.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Acrylic Financial Incorporated is a registered investment advisor, and the opinions expressed by those on this show are their own and do not reflect the opinions of Acrylic Financial. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. Information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as recommendations appropriate for any individual. Listeners are encouraged to seek advice from a qualified tax, legal, or investment advisor to determine whether any information presented may be suitable for their specific situation. Past performance is not indicative of future performance, and some guests may have been paid a fee to be interviewed for this show.